Hello, I'm Melissa Doyle. There is nothing quite like a royal romance, followed of course by a gala royal wedding. And this one has all the key ingredients of a full-scale, worldwide media frenzy. The lovable rogue turned into Prince Charming falls for a beautiful commoner, an American and an actress, no less. Join me now for an intimate portrait of Harry and Meghan, a thoroughly modern royal couple. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, his royal bride-to-be, out pressing the flesh, very much in love and very much loved by the crowd.
Meghan is a sign of the future. She is the future. You know, Hollywood couldn't have made this script up. It's genius because she's the perfect pairing for Harry and she's a perfect symbol for the future of the royal family.
The fact that I fell in love with Meghan so incredibly quickly was sort of confirmation to me that everything, all the stars were aligned, everything was just perfect.
When Harry and Meghan walk down the aisle here at St George's Chapel in Windsor Castle, it will be a landmark moment for the royal family. Nothing short of revolutionary. A union that once would have been impossible.
Even a decade ago, it would have been eyebrows raised for Prince Harry to bring along Meghan Markle, biracial, divorced, American actress.
Tonight, we take you behind palace walls
Meghan is a genuine...
for the inside story of the royal romance.
Both people are psychologically birds with a broken wing.
As best-selling author Andrew Morton delves into Meghan's past and reveals her calculating rise to stardom.
The Meghan chill is where, once you're no longer part of her circle, that's it, goodbye.
How this all-American girl became an international style icon.
There are girls, women out there, falling over themselves to copy her style.
And we hear from Meghan's half-brother Tom, who sets the record straight about all those nasty family rumours.
Everybody out there with their gutter opinions about how bad the Markle family is, and, take a look in the mirror and take a look at your family first before you judge other people.
It was this beautiful woman just sort of literally tripped and fell into my life. I fell into her life.
He was the world's most eligible bachelor. She was the glamorous actress. They met on a blind date 2 years ago, and it got serious very quickly. Harry's proposal, when it came just before Christmas, was simple and charming.
It happened a few weeks ago here at our cottage. Just a standard, typical night for us.
It's a cozy night. What were we doing? Just roasting chicken and
Roasting
having...
a chicken. Trying to roast a chicken.
Trying to roast a chicken. And it was just an amazing surprise. It was so sweet and natural and very romantic. He got on one knee.
Of course.
Was it an instant yes from you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I could barely let you finish proposing. I was like, can I say yes now?
She didn't even let me finish. She said, can I say yes, can I say yes now? And then there was hugs and I had the ring in my finger and I was like, can I give you the ring? And she goes, oh yes, the ring.
Congratulations, Harry.
Meghan, can you show us the ring, please?
And I can just see Harry proposing to Meghan in that cottage. It is a romantic setting. Nothing big, nothing glitzy, nothing glamorous, just comfortable and homely.
That's the one that's speculation.
Royal commentators Dickie Arbiter and his daughter Victoria have known Harry for his entire life. They say the proposal was typical Harry.
So many grooms-to-be go through the ringer trying to think of the biggest, boldest, most romantic way to propose to their ladies, whether it's up a mountain, at the beach, in a restaurant. And the fact that for Harry and Meghan, it just came about over roast chicken while they were cooking at home. It just, again, it speaks, I think, to the authenticity of their relationship.
And you know quite well that Harry is a likeable person.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot dislike him. He just exudes confidence. I mean, he's just a nice guy.
Well, this is Princess Diana's favourite garden, the Sunken Garden. And this is the place where, appropriately, Prince Harry had his press conference to introduce Meghan Markle to the world as his future bride.
Andrew Morton knows all the royal secrets. He wrote the best-selling book about Diana that exposed her doomed marriage to Prince Charles. Now he's telling all about Meghan, the newest bride-to-be.
The big difference between Meghan and Diana is that Diana's vulnerability was that which attracted people to her. And you could see her change over the years from this shy, rather winsome princess to an independent, self-confident woman. With Meghan, you already have an independent, self-confident woman who is camera-ready and not camera-shy, and someone who is very poised and very articulate and has a real sense of what she wants to say and how she wants to say it.
While Diana had the perfect pedigree for a royal bride, Meghan's couldn't be any more different. She comes with a past, a divorce, and a racy Hollywood career. Yet she's been warmly accepted by the one who matters most, the Queen.
So in some of her TV roles, she's been seen snorting cocaine, she's been seen just after performing oral sex, seen having sex in a filing room, teaching women how to do striptease. She's done all these roles and the Queen still loves her.
Have you met the Queen?
I have, yes.
A couple of times.
Yeah,
What was
it's
that
true,
like?
a couple of times. It's incredible. I think, you know, to be able to meet her through his lens, not just with his honor and respect for her as the monarch, but the love that he has for her as his grandmother.
Oh, really? Please.
Boom.
The Queen is not a dictator when it comes to her family. She doesn't like to tell them what to do. She doesn't dish out instructions. William said she'll be very quick to tell you when she doesn't like what you're doing, but she's keen for them to go off and lead their own lives, to make their own choices. And ultimately, if Harry makes Meghan happy and Meghan makes Harry happy, what more could a grandmother want?
But for all the happiness next month's marriage will bring to the royal household, it will be tinged by a note of sadness. Harry will celebrate the biggest day of his life without his mum.
What do you think your mother would have thought of Meghan or said about Meghan?
Oh, they'd be thick as thieves, without question. I think she would be over the moon, jumping up and down, you know, so excited for me. But then, as I said, would have probably been best friends with Meghan. So no, it is days like today when I really miss having her around and miss being able to share the happy news. But you know, with the ring and with everything else that's going on, I'm sure she's
with us.
I'm sure she's with us. Yeah.
Funnily enough, I've had various kind of soothsayers contact me to say that Diana, looking down from you know, that great palace in the sky, very much favours Harry's choice.
What does it mean to you, Meghan, to have those stones on your finger that once belonged to Princess Diana?
I think everything about Harry's thoughtfulness and the inclusion of that, and obviously not being able to meet his mom, it's so important to me to know that she's a part of this with us.
I'd never even heard about her until this friend said Meghan Markle. I was like, right, okay, give me a bit of background. what's going on here? So no, I'd never watched Suits. I'd never heard of Meghan before.
Certainly, Prince Henry of Wales and Rachel Meghan Markle came from very different worlds. And if not for a fortuitous meeting in a swanky London club, they would never have crossed paths.
I was beautifully surprised when I walked into that room and saw her, and there she was sitting there. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to up my game. I'm going to sit down and and make sure I've got a good chat.
While Harry's life story was an open book, there was a lot to learn about Meghan. She grew up in suburban Los Angeles. Her dad, Thomas, an Emmy Award-winning lighting director, Mum Doria, a makeup artist and yoga teacher. Meghan was intelligent, precocious, with a vivid imagination.
Your Royal Highness, take one. Your Highness, isn't there anything to do around this kingdom anymore?
But who would have thought her backyard fantasy about being a princess would one day come true?
And don't go
I'm very happy for her. You know, I'm glad she's, you know, living the dream and living every girl's, I guess, fantasy as far as like growing up and marrying a prince. So she's worked really hard to get where she's at.
So are you far out of town? Tom Markle is Meghan's half-brother from their father's first marriage. He now lives in Grants Pass, a small rural town in Oregon where he works as a glass fitter. But he fondly remembers those early years growing up with Meghan in Los Angeles.
When she was born, it really, I mean, I felt as though we had more of a family unit and brought us closer together as a family.
What's Meghan like?
Very happy. Just really happy all growing up. She's very proud, self-driven also.
Is Harry a lucky guy?
Harry's as lucky as he can be, you know.
When news of the royal romance first broke, the British press was quick to paint a tawdry picture of Meghan's background. Her family was labelled dysfunctional, trailer trash, and much was made of the fact her mother was African American. Why were the tabloids so keen to paint a picture that Meghan came from the wrong side of the tracks?
The initial knee-jerk reaction to the news that Meghan was a biracial woman, was dating Princess Diana's son, was racist, quite frankly. They were talking about how her mother lived in a part of Los Angeles where there were bloodbath murders, where there were gangland killings. I mean, nothing could be further from the truth.
Meghan went to the finest schools available in Los Angeles, period. I mean, private schools all the way through college. 70% of the population can't afford that. So it wasn't a crime-ridden, I mean, horrible neighborhood. Woodland Hills was upper middle class.
Meghan's parents split when she was 2, but she stayed close to both. The same can't be said of her relationship with her half-siblings. Meghan hasn't spoken to them in years. And given the headlines both Tom and Samantha Markle keep generating, that probably won't change anytime soon. Tom's latest indiscretion, being arrested for illegal possession of firearms.
You know, God forbid, if you do drink too much and get in trouble one night, you know, it makes national headlines. You have to change your life, change your lifestyle, change everything, because you are being followed. You are having pictures taken of you on several different occasions. So it hasn't been easy. It just makes you more aware of, you know, you're basically representing Meghan Markle and she's getting married to Prince Harry. So anything you do is under a microscope.
Not that the media needs to look too hard. Recently, Sister Samantha raised eyebrows again with her threat to write a tell-all book called Princess Pushy. Does she dislike Meghan?
I think she's had this ongoing resentment since Meg was born with her, and everybody's got ghosts and stuff in the closet and secrets and hatred, and it's a normal family. But this has brought a lot of stuff to the surface. You know, it's just like, why? It's just, could just be happy for her, you know, just, you know, say, good job, that's amazing, you know, instead of threatening to write a book about family secrets and say bad things about your sister, you know.
All these family shenanigans, Tom's arrest, Samantha's public comments, do you think any of these family antics are embarrassing to the royal family?
Well, the royal family have been pretty embarrassing over the years. I mean, there's no tapes of late night conversations of members of the Markle family to throw out.
And nobody is more aware of that than Harry himself. His parents' marriage bust-up was one scandal after another.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
Dickie Arbiter, press secretary to Diana and Charles, saw the impact the ugly divorce had on the young prince.
While he had a mother and father, they were living under separate roofs, so he had a different type of upbringing. And he wants very much to have something that he never had, and that's actually to create a family. And I think with Meghan, he'll actually do that.
There's no doubt about it. They're both birds with a broken wing. They're both not from stable families. And I find the one worrying thing about Meghan's family is that on both sides, the marriages have lasted for 2 or 3 years, then they've split up. So marriage and abandonment are part of family law. And with this family, she's got to make a real go of it. There's no walking away.
For Meghan, that resolve to make a go of it is only strengthened by her own failed marriage to Hollywood producer Trevor Engelson.
The relationship between Trevor and Meghan seems to be a match made in heaven. This was 2 people who, as a couple, were a young power couple in Hollywood. And she went off to Toronto, where she got a job working on Suits, which made her name, and he remained in Los Angeles. And over a period of 2 years, the distance grew between them till the point came where the relationship ended. And one of his friends said to me that she actually sent the wedding ring and the engagement ring back in a jiffy bag.
Harry, meanwhile, has had his own fair share of serious relationships. He was certainly no commitment phobe, but finding somebody suitable and willing to take on all the responsibilities and scrutiny of joining the royal family wasn't as easy as it might seem.
He loved having a long-term girlfriend. He was with Chelsea Davy for on and off a little bit, but they were together for 6 years, with Cressida Bonus for 2 years. But both those girls said for them, the deal breaker was the press intrusion. They simply couldn't handle it.
I remember someone saying to me when he found the right person, she would come completely out of left field, and they were right.
As royal correspondent for Hello magazine, Emily Nash has got close to Prince Harry over the years.
I think it's fair to say he probably was lonely. I think, he obviously has great friends, but it's a very unique role that he has. And having someone he can really share that with, who is, sharing the spotlight, taking part in the work and supporting him, will really be the making of him.
Enter Meghan Markle. As Harry himself said, the stars were aligned in July 2016. Meghan was single, beautiful, and on her way to London.
No question about the fact that Meghan Markle was looking for love, looking for romance. She was a bit out of practice, as she said herself, with the dating game, but she was prepared to dive back in.
Yes, it was definitely a setup. It was a blind date.
It was a blind date.
This is one of the best blind dates in history. When Harry walked into the room, he saw this gorgeous girl before him and realised, as he said, he's going to have to up his game.
It happened at London's exclusive Soho House Club in July 2016. One of Meghan's girlfriends played matchmaker.
I had one question. I said, well, is he nice? Because if he wasn't kind, it didn't seem like it would make sense. And so we went and met for a drink, and then I think very quickly into that we said, well, what are we doing tomorrow? We should meet again.
For 6 months, Harry and Meghan dated in secret. He would sneak into Canada unnoticed to stay at Meghan's place while she was filming Suits. And when she came to London, she stayed at Harry's cottage.
We were able to really have so much time just to connect, and we never went longer than 2 weeks without seeing each other, even though we were obviously doing a long-distance relationship. So we made it work.
But it was only a matter of time before she was spotted. This is where the first photo of Meghan was taken, confirming she was staying with Prince Harry at Kensington Palace just a few metres up the road. She was snapped coming out of an organic supermarket with with a bag full of groceries.
Normally, members of the royal family, when they're dating a young woman, they don't invite them to live with them at their palace home. The fact that they were living together effectively as man and wife showed you how serious this relationship was from a very early age.
I am proud to be a woman and a feminist.
Harry soon discovered there was a lot more to Meghan Markle. She has a degree in international relations, is passionate about women's rights.
It means that a wife is equal to her husband, a sister to her brother.
And she's a committed humanitarian, qualities admired by Harry, whose mother Diana worked tirelessly for charitable causes. His own charity, Sentembale, helps AIDS victims and vulnerable children in Africa.
And it was really one of the first things we connected on. It was one of the first things we started talking about when we met, was just the different things that we wanted to do in the world and how passionate we were about seeing change. I think that was, that's what got date 2 in the books, probably.
Plenty to talk about.
She was hardwired for activism from a pretty early age, and when she was 13, 14, she first went to visit the homeless and went to a soup kitchen in downtown LA.
Which then you see the obvious parallels with Harry's life and what Diana used to do.
There's clear parallels with the fact that Princess Diana would take Harry and William to hospitals to see people who were ill, to visit homeless shelters, all because Diana wanted them to understand that there was more to life than inside the wrought iron gates of Buckingham Palace.
Prince Harry lambasts the press for harassing his American girlfriend.
As the relationship between Harry and Meghan intensified, so too did speculation about her suitability as a royal. Every aspect of her life was relentlessly scrutinised, and much was made of her racial background.
I think we were just hit so hard at the beginning with a lot of mistruths that I made the choice to not read anything, positive or negative. It just didn't make sense, and instead we focused all of our energies just on nurturing our relationship.
On us, yeah.
On us.
Just 1 month after their relationship became public, there was an unprecedented announcement from the palace, a heartfelt response from Prince Harry to cruel attacks on Meghan.
It refers to the racial undertones of comment pieces.
Of course, it's disheartening. You know, it's a shame that that is the climate in this world, to focus that much on that, or that would be discriminatory in that sense. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, I'm really just proud of who I am and where I come from, and we have never put any focus on that. We've just focused on who we are as a couple.
No one in the royal family has spoken out quite so vociferously as that on their private life. It was lovely to see him being so protective, but also a real a game changer for us, because we understood that this was serious and we had to, you know, respect the rules.
Just how serious Harry and Meghan were was confirmed in November last year with the announcement of their engagement and their first official interview.
I know that I'm in love with this girl, and I hope that she's in love with me, but we still had to sit down on the sofa, and I still had to have some pretty, frank conversations with her to say, look, what you're letting yourself in for is, it's a big deal.
What came across in that interview is that this was definitely a relationship that was equal. What we're used to seeing in the past is the royal bride, the royal fiancé sort of deferring to the spouse.
Meghan's invitation to Christmas at Sandringham House was yet another departure from tradition.
I don't remember a royal fiancé ever being invited to the royal family Christmas. So I think the Queen has been very keen to include Meghan as much as possible, probably also aware that as a foreign national, she doesn't have family here, so it would be terrible to just sort of leave her at home by herself at Christmas.
I think we've got one of the biggest families that I know of, and every family is complex as well. So, no, look, she's done an absolutely amazing job, just getting in there, and it's the family that I suppose she's never had.
But on the other side of the Atlantic, the Markles were deeply offended at suggestions that Meghan didn't have a supportive family.
You know, my dad bent over backwards and really just paved the way for her and gave her every single thing she needed to get where she's at today. It would hurt, it wouldn't irritate me, but it would just hurt.
Has she maybe forgotten where she's come from?
She can't forget about her family because we're never going to go away. We're always going to be her family.
How does your dad cope with all this family friction being played out publicly?
He's probably not happy. Well, you see the look on his face in those pictures that they finally got of him. So, doesn't look very happy. And he's a really private person, so.
As Meghan's fame grew, friends have also spoken about being left behind. Andrew Morton calls it the Meghan chill.
Well, the Meghan chill is where once you're no longer part of her circle, that's it, goodbye. The reality is that she moved on in her career and moved on in her life. And those people who she's still friendly with will remain. But there's no time for faux friendship.
In almost no time at all, Meghan has become an international style icon. Editor of UK Marie Claire, Trish Halpin, says she is glamorous and has sex appeal.
You can't look that polished and fabulous without wearing expensive clothes, but she'll throw in a little jigsaw scarf or a Marks & Spencer's polo neck under, and I think that reflects how women dress.
Meghan wears a sweater from Marks & Spencer's. People go crazy because we can all be a part of that, you know. We can all pop down to our local M&S and hopefully find something that's left.
They're calling it the Meghan effect. No sooner has she worn an item of clothing than it's snapped up in a buying frenzy.
There are girls, women out there, you know, falling over themselves to copy her style.
Aussie brands are feeling the Meghan effect too. This $699 Camilla & Marc blazer sold out in a day. And stocks of this $295 Oroton handbag were gone within hours.
What she's been brilliant at so far is picking relatively small labels and, you know, really putting them on the map.
It's estimated that Meghan will bring $1 billion to UK tourism and fashion. Australian couture designers Ralph and Russo got plenty of attention when she wore their gown for her engagement portraits.
It was quite risque, actually, but incredibly elegant and beautiful. And that's what I mean, I think about, she just brings a little sexy edge to it that works beautifully. And, you know, £56,000, it's a lot of money. It was a lot of money for that dress. You just have to think about where those pictures went all around the world. She had to get that dress right, and she got it right.
The wedding dress, what sort of dress do you think it'll be, and who will design it?
I think we all have very high hopes for the wedding dress. I think Duchess of Cambridge pulled out a showstopper with the Alexander McQueen. None of us were really expecting that, and we were so, I think in the fashion community, the fashion press, we were so delighted about that. It was a very, very sharp move. So for Meghan, I think the money, the odds are on Ralph and Russo again. So we'll see, we will see.
They're calling it the people's wedding, and perhaps it's a sign of the changing nature of the royal family that Harry and Meghan are tying the knot at St George's Chapel here in Windsor Castle. Harry's brother William, his mum Diana, and even the Queen were all married at the somewhat grander Westminster Abbey. But while the venue is a break from tradition, the celebration will nonetheless have plenty of pomp and ceremony.
Ah, that's what everybody's been waiting for.
There is so much history in this room. It's absolutely stunning. These portraits are beautiful. The Mayor and Mayoress of Windsor are surrounded by history. Kings and queens of the past have lived and loved here.
There's Charles I up there.
And now there's much expectation as they prepare for the next chapter in the rich heritage of this quaint village, an hour's drive from London.
I'm thrilled to expect it, and I'm thrilled that we're going to have the royal wedding here, and it's going to be such a wonderful benefit for the town and all people.
And right in the centre of town is Windsor Castle. It's 1,000 years old, but for all its history and grandeur, to the royals, it's home.
It is, for all intents and purposes, a family wedding, albeit one that is shared with the entire planet. But I think they'll just be high on the whole experience. And I think what's been a particularly nice touch from both of them, they were very keen to make the public as involved as possible.
Today we celebrate.
More than 2,500 people have been invited into the church grounds. 600 guests will be inside the chapel, and at least 1 billion will be watching on television.
We'll all be looking at the dress and also what the other royal ladies are wearing. And hopefully it's wow.
I don't think any of us can wait to see the dress and seeing Meghan in the dress. That will be very exciting. And also seeing Harry and watching Harry's reaction. We're going to see the reaction because the television cameras are going to be inside the chapel. We're going to see his reaction when he first sees Meghan. But I think everybody will wait for his reaction when they come out of the chapel at the end of the service and stand at the top of the steps, because there'll be a photo opportunity there.
That's when we might get a kiss on the steps of St. George's Chapel.
That's when we might get a kiss on the steps of St. George's Chapel. And I would lay £100 wager now. No, £1,000 wager. No, 100. Stick.
I was about to say I'm in.
That they'll have a kiss on the top of the steps.
Once they're married, Harry and Meghan are determined to share their joy with as many people as possible, with a ceremonial procession through the streets of Windsor.
And this was the sight the crowds had waited for.
It will follow a similar route to the wedding of Prince Edward and Sophie Rhys-Jones in 1999.
It's 2 miles, so that allows for hundreds of thousands of people to get a glimpse of the happy couple.
Then, in a stunning finish, they will continue down the long walk and back to Windsor Castle, surrounded by thousands of well-wishers for the first of their 2 receptions. The wedding invites were sent a month ago. No political leaders have made the list, not even the British PM. But who from the Markle family will be going?
Did you get an invite?
No, I don't know. When did they go out? Nobody has my address anyway. I'm pretty hard to get hold of.
We found you.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky too.
While Tom and his sister Samantha aren't going, it is expected Meghan's mother will be there.
Her mom will, I'm sure, that I know of.
But there's still no official word on whether her father, Thomas, will walk her down the aisle. He lives in quiet retirement in Mexico.
My dad just wants to be left alone. He doesn't like spotlight. He doesn't like interviews. He doesn't like anything, and that's why, he moved down there to just be alone. But he's got to come out now, though. I mean, he's got to step up to the plate and walk his daughter down that aisle. Hopefully he'll just, realize that this is like the biggest event of the century and he's involved, whether he likes it or not.
Is Meghan embarrassed by her family?
She's probably embarrassed at some of the stories and accusations and,
Is your family fractured?
I think my family's always been fractured. I think now more than ever, it should be the time for everybody to put their differences aside and just, be a family. We have a small family, maybe broken up, but it's still a family.
While Meghan's family will be light on the ground in Windsor, the royals will be there in full force, along with plenty of other well-heeled guests. Most hotels are already booked out, with rates as high as $20,000 for the weekend. It wouldn't be a royal wedding without the souvenirs. So there's cups with Harry and Meghan on them. There's tins of tea and teaspoons. Look at this. This is a replica of the engagement ring. It's kind of gorgeous. There's tea towels, but I think my favourite for fun would have to be the Harry and Meghan face masks. Just like Diana, Meghan Markle has been embraced by the British public.
I just simply put my arms around her and loved her.
The crowd is going crazy for Meghan at engagements. Around the UK, the sea of people has just been unlike anything I've witnessed before for Harry. He's hugely popular, but, you know, this popularity is just mushroomed since Meghan came on the scene.
I am such a fan of Meghan. That radiant smile, she is so engaging. I absolutely adore her. She's very touchy-feely. She's got that, I would say, that kind of Princess Diana warmth about her. And that's really incredible.
Harry and Meghan will undoubtedly be the most famous newlyweds on earth, but they're determined to balance their public and private lives.
Harry, he's always said he wants a normal life, to be treated like a normal person.
So will they be able to maintain a sense, or not even maintain, but have some sort of sense of normality?
They do lead an ordinary life as far as they're able. And I always think, you know, this isn't a goldfish bowl they live in. They're like actors on stage. They do their performance, walk off stage, and then they get on with their lives.
In Andrew Morton's best-selling biography, Meghan comes across as a woman of sophisticated tastes. She loves good food and wine and starts each day with a healthy green juice.
Harry's fridge will be totally changed. I mean, you know, she's into avocados, she's into seeds, she's into nuts. I mean, forget the pizza, that's out. Harry will be eating healthier, and he'll be even trying a few yoga moves, because I have to say, Meghan is a real star at yoga, and she'll be desperately looking for a decent class.
Do you think she'll get him into yoga? Will that be the next move? I'd love to. I'd love to see Prince Harry doing yoga. I think, you know, that could be, you know... Sorry, I'm just wittering on there. No, but we've all got those images, haven't we? Yes, exactly. I think that's what I just distracted myself.
Perhaps the most exciting time for Harry and Meghan may well happen soon.
Children?
Not currently, no. No, of course, you know, I think, you know, one step at a time, and hopefully we'll start a family in the near future.
Do you think they will be in a hurry to have babies?
Meghan's going to be 37 in August. Prince Harry has talked about wanting to start a family pretty sharpish. So I think we'll be talking about baby names, and people will be trying to work out what will an African-American child with a ginger-haired kid look like.
Could you imagine how much everyone will love their kids, though? When they love Harry, they love Meghan. Oh my gosh, these babies are going to be the most loved.
Well, they're going to be extraordinary kids, that's for sure. And if they've got anything of Meghan's intelligence, they're going to be a real asset to the royal family.
Do you find around Grant's Pass you're recognised or much?
Here and there a little bit. It'd be a lot more in LA.
Just where Meghan Markle's own family sits in her new life is uncertain. Her half-brother Tom hopes that one day he will be welcomed as a doting uncle.
I think an uncle is a pretty important role.
Would you like to rebuild a relationship with Meghan?
I didn't even know that we had a falling out. So I would like to see her again, yeah. I want to give her a hug and tell her how proud I am of her, but, you know, I have to travel a really long way to do that.
While her own family ties are strained, Meghan has become very close to Harry's brother William and his wife Kate. Together, they've been affectionately nicknamed the Fab Four: young, dynamic, attractive, interesting. How powerful will the Fab Four be?
I think the greatest fan of the Fab Four is Her Majesty the Queen, because she can see in those four people the future of the monarchy.
With Meghan's dazzling Hollywood glamour and Harry's royal heritage, they will no doubt become a global power couple.
At the moment, for us, it's going to be making sure that our relationship is always put first. But no, look, both of us have passions for wanting to make change for good, and you know, with lots of young people running around the Commonwealth, that's where we're going to spend most of our time.
But before all those grand plans, there's a royal wedding. And what a fabulous occasion that will be.
You've got to think she really is crazy about Harry in the same way as he is about her.
I think Harry thinks he's the luckiest man alive. I mean, on royal engagements these days, he's got a spring in his step, a smile on his face. He's the guy who feels he's got the cream.
I know that, you know, at the end of the day, she chooses me and I choose her. And therefore, you know, whatever we have to tackle together or individually will always be us together as a team. So I think she's capable
It's so nicely said, isn't it?
I don't know. She's capable of anything.